One thing I want to say is, let me just get to it. A teacher got attacked, a substitute teacher got attacked in my son's school around the time of this recording. And I read online where a substitute teacher who just happens to do martial arts got attacked. Someone I've never met but have corresponded with online before. So I wonder, why don't school teachers take martial arts? Now, what baffles my mind about this is that it's not the first time I've ever heard, those weren't the first two times I've ever heard of a teacher being attacked by a student. And there's now, this is 2013, a couple states have teachers able to carry guns. So it's okay for a teacher to carry a gun in a classroom, but it's not okay for a teacher to study martial arts, or teachers would rather use a gun than learn how to protect themselves without a gun. You can carry martial arts with you anywhere. You're not going to be forbidden from boarding a plane or walking into certain environments because you're a martial artist. Maybe it would be good for you to learn how to defend yourself without a gun, so that if something happens, you're not automatically tempted to reach for a gun. Law enforcement learns martial arts. They may not all have black belts, but they learn something. They learn some kind of self-defense stuff. Even if they don't think that they are, that's where all their self-defense moves comes from. It comes from a martial art. Or several different martial arts, Why won't teachers learn martial arts? I've talked to a principal for even offered to teach for free. I would come to a school and teach for free. If my day job work schedule allows it, I teach for free, wherever I happen to be working at the time. I bet you there's a school not that far from there where I could go teach teachers. I could teach you for free. And I'm probably not the only one. Now, of course, I would prefer to teach for fee. F-E-E. Not F-R-E-E. But I could see teaching for free if I had the time. Or if it was a group of school teachers that said we would be willing to come to your basement at your house and work out for like an hour or a couple of hours a week, I would do that because they educated my children. They're educating other people's children. I think they should be safe. Now, if the school system's not going to pay for teachers to learn a martial art, why don't you hire security for some of these classrooms? There are teachers being attacked by students, being beat up by students. I'm not kidding you. The kids have no fear of hitting an adult. Junior high, high school. Why not take martial arts? And I got news for some of you teachers who teach like elementary schools. From what I've seen, at 10-year, some teachers think they can manhandle and scare like boys. Let me tell you something. A boy that's about 10 years old can handle a woman physically. You only have physical dominance over the boys until they're about 10 years old. Once they get to be about 10 years old, they can take you out. And you want to know how I figured that out? I was reading about child soldiers in, I cannot remember the name of the country. I want to say Rwanda. In Africa. I think it was Rwanda. And I heard that they had boys as young as 10 years old in their armies. I'm like, why do they have kids that young in the army? So I said, let me test this out. So I was assistant instructing at a judo club at the time. Yeah, I know the YouTube thing up there says Taekwondo, but I do Taekwondo, I also do judo too. And I'm qualified to teach in both. But anyway, So I said, let me test this out. So my son was 10 at the time. He has some grappling, but grappling is not his forte. That's not his main thing. That's not where his black belt is. He's got like a blue belt in judo. And then he probably had maybe a white belt in judo. I don't even know if he was really ranked in judo. But at any rate, there was a physically fit woman there. I would say average to above average fitness level. Not average in terms of American obesity, but like as fit as you're supposed to be without being overly muscular. The type of woman that probably thinks that she can handle a 10-year-old child. So I put her up against him in mat work. And she thought it was a joke. She was like, oh, please, please, this little boy, what's he going to do, right? Until he pinned her. And then he pinned her again. And then he pinned her again, and she was shocked. I told her afterwards, I put you with him so that you can see that little boys can be dangerous. And she said, yeah, I'm kind of glad you did that because I never would have thought that a 10-year-old could take me down. Yep. And considering how sedentary most of us are, these children are going to be dangerous to a lot of adults. Some of these kids grow fast and they mature faster. So you 35 years old, let's say you're 35 years old. You're a 35-year-old guy and you're substitute teaching. You can get attacked by a 13-year-old whose hormones make him like a 17-year-old. Because that's just how he's genetically coded. And he's more physically active than you are. And you never played a sport, or it's been decades since you played a sport, or something like that, You're not very active. You never take a self-defense. Boy, it can hurt you. Your grown man strength that you feel that you have, that's probably not going to do you any good to any boy that's over 13 years old or 14 years old. If you're in high school, those young boys can hurt you. You don't know what you're doing. So again, but yet there's legislation and there being laws passed that's allowing teachers to carry guns. Now I understand you want teachers to be able to protect themselves against, armed gunmen, people that attack you with loaded weapons. That's fine. But you're probably much more likely to be attacked by an unarmed, unruly student or a student that picks up a stapler than you are some mentally deranged person that's going to come through the school with a machine gun. Which one happens more often? Someone please correct me if I'm incorrect. What happens more often? Someone coming to school and deciding to shoot up the school? Or some kid not wanting to sit down when they're told to sit down, losing it and attacking an adult? And see, if you learn some martial arts techniques, you can learn how to get out of the way, or block or just redirect the attack without having to just haul off and pop the kid in the face. So I want to know, why is it that number one, school teachers don't take martial arts? Number two, school systems don't require teachers to take martial arts? And number three, why is it okay for teachers to carry guns but not learn Taekwondo or Judo? And if anybody wants to learn, look around the top of the YouTube page, go to the website, all the information is up there. If nothing else, you could get up on a Saturday morning for only $40 to $50 for 2 months. 2 months. And take some classes so you can learn how to protect yourself.